Last week, President Trump announced details of the coronavirus food assistance program, which includes $16 billion in direct payments to farmers and ranchers. NCBA President Marty Smith joined other agricultural leaders at the White House as President Trump introduced the coronavirus food assistance program.
I want to begin by expressing our profound gratitude to everyone here today and the farmers and producers across the country who have kept our nation fed and nourished as we have battled the invisible enemy. It is an invisible enemy. It's tough. For this reason, my administration is launching a sweeping new initiative, the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program. Through this effort, we are providing $19 billion to support our nation's agricultural producers, maintain the health of our critical food supply chains, and provide food assistance to American families.
And joining us now from the NCBA office in Washington, D.C. is Florida Cattlemen and NCBA President Marty Smith. Marty, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin.
Tell us what brought you to Washington, D.C.?
I'm here today because of the president's announcement this morning of the CFAP program, the rolling out of that program along. And so had the opportunity to be at the White House this morning with the president, with Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue, with the announcing of that program, and then had the opportunity to speak directly to the president and to the secretary about concerns that we have in the cattle industry.
What was it like to be standing in the room as the president announced his relief plans for this country's farmers and ranchers?
It's an incredible opportunity. It's quite an honor to be able to represent America's cattlemen in anything like that, and to be there. The event was hosted in the Roosevelt Room, which is right next to the Oval Office. It's the president's conference room, and quite a historical place. One of the great things with President Trump has been the relationship that our Washington staff and that our officer group has been able to develop with him, and the fact that we are brought in to take part in ceremonies like that, and that he values our input and our opinions.
Clearly, NCBA has played a big role, and really, as we move forward, Marty, I'm curious, why do you believe it's so important to have contact and to maintain contact with all segments of the beef industry?
Well, the NCBA plays a huge role with all segments, Kevin. I mean, we're there for the cow-calf producer. We're there for the stocker, backgrounder, for the cattle feeders. And, we have the overall role of developing and improving demand for beef, both domestically and worldwide. So we take that job very seriously. At the same time, we've got to protect the interest of our ranchers, and operators, producers all over the country.
So I'm curious, you're probably getting lots of phone calls and emails from producers all across the country. What are producers in the country telling you or asking you right now?
With this current program, there's a lot of questions about it. We're sitting here today in the NCBA office trying to sort through the details of this, and it was made clear from the very start that this was a first step. This was not to be the end-all, be-all program. It's not going to make us whole. It's designed to help us through this process. But we're talking today, and we'll continue to talk about other steps that we're going to be taking. And we have been told to expect to go back to Congress for some additional funding. Certainly, there's some holes in this program that we need to flesh out, and that we need to get Congress to act on, and we'll be working on that.
So as we head from May into the summer season, is there any hope on the horizon?
Yes, I certainly want us to think of some of the positive things that are going on. We are seeing the packing plants coming back closer to operational status. Understand that as of yesterday, all of the beef plants were open and we're processing cattle. We've seen throughout this too, we've seen tremendous demand for beef. We hear the stories of, concern out there that there may not be enough beef. And we've certainly taken major steps to make sure that America's public and the rest of the world has that access to beef. So the demand side of it is good. We've just got to keep our supply chain going and keep getting that beef in the stores. And, with the coming months, we're going to see restaurants opening back up. I mean, that's a major part of our market, and is something that we've obviously missed. So we're looking forward as we see restaurants open back, see people going back to a more normal lifestyle. There's certainly a lot of hope on the horizon with that we will get our market built back up. In the meantime, we recognize this is a tough time for every one of us out there. I mean, it's a tough time in terms of dealing with the virus. It's a tough time in terms of dealing with the economy, with the economics of beef production, whatever segment you're involved in. Me as a cow-calf producer, I see that firsthand. I also have cattle in the feed yard right now, and this is just not the right time or right place to be. I know that. And we're doing everything we can as an organization to keep things going for all of our producers.
Well, there's certainly some challenges ahead, but it is encouraging to hear the announcement today. Thank you for taking a few minutes to visit with us today, and please thank the entire staff in D.C. for all they do to represent our interests.
Thank you very much, and we'll say they have been working incredibly hard here, and recognize that we still have a lot of problems to deal with, and we will be dealing with those.